Morning, folks. For me, today is Wednesday morning, hump day, and today's soap is Bull and Bell. This one here is a barbershop scent in a screw top lid tin there. Also, going to be following today's shave up with Stirling's Barbershop aftershave, and I'll tell you a little bit about the cap here pretty soon. Yeah, I had a lot of fun this morning. Um, Also, I already put a hot towel to the face this morning for the pre-shave, as well as using the Proraso pre-shave cream here. And I've got the soap whipped up here in a fine accoutrements lathering bowl with a, yeah, there we go, RazoRock 400 synthetic knot. And it whipped up. I got way too much lather whipped up, but I was having fun with it. It was a lot of fun just doing my typical swirl and got it whipped up pretty good. And it's a pleasant scent, at least per my nose. Yours nose may be somewhat different. And I'll have a link down below also for a lot of this stuff. Blade of choice today, decided to go ahead and go with the crystal. And I have it in the Mac Metalworks Slant brass handle there. It's a good looking handle. A lot of weight right there. I'm not sure how much it weighs, but it's pretty healthy. That's what the cap looks like if the camera picks it up there. And I'll go ahead and wet the face here. What had happened was, I take the lid off of the aftershave, and I'm smelling it to see how close it comes to pairing up. Is it going to work well with this particular scent, from Bull and Bell, and it's going through all that process. And what ended up happening was when I went to tighten it down, not that I got He-Man strength, but anyway, I must have a little bit more strength than what the plastic could withstand. And when I was tightening it up, snugging it up, I heard a snap, and I thought, okay, well, that's my indication that it's in place. Well, when I moved my hand, I realized that the top of the cap had cracked. So in other words, it became a flip top. So I had to figure out, now what am I going to do? And so I have an aftershave that I use once in a great while that I haven't quite put my finger on whether am I experiencing an irritation? Is it just how the aftershave is with me? How it reacts with my skin? It doesn't turn my skin red. It doesn't, have any blotches or anything like that. But there's, it feels, how can you say, uncomfortable for a moment. Not for very long, but for a moment. So I don't know if I'm having a reaction to it or maybe it's just not for me. And I've had this aftershave for quite a while, for a few years, and I've tried it off and on. And every time I try it, I end up with the same experience, that it kind of feels like irritation to me. But like I say, my face doesn't turn red, doesn't turn splotchy, or any kind of reaction like that. It's just how it feels when I apply the aftershave. So took the cap off of that one, put it on this one, and but now I still have an aftershave without a lid. So I was giving us some thought on what I should do. So I took a 2 liter, soda pop. In other words, we had a empty 2 liter. So I took the 2 liter cap off, and just to see if the threading would come close. And what it works out just fine. So the cap off the 2 liter is now the cap on my aftershave that I have, that I'm still not sure whether this aftershave is for me or not. In other words, if there's something in it that is irritating my skin, or is that just how it responds, and there's really nothing wrong, that's just how it is. It's the only aftershave that I have that's like that. So I'm leaning more towards that there's something in it that my skin is not agreeing with. But the only thing is like I say, it's only for, not for very long, a short moment. Nothing I can't, withstand or anything quite like that. Face doesn't turn red or irritated. It doesn't look irritated. It feels it for a moment, but it doesn't look it. And also, Unfortunately for the aftershave, it's also one my wife really does not like. She does not like it at all. So, still not real sure what to do with it. I might continue on experimenting with it over time and see how it works out. But yeah, it's probably the one and only aftershave that my wife just really rebels when I wear it. She really does not like it. But today's setup, not so bad. Don't have any problems with this setup at all. Bull and Bell, this one here, like I say, it comes in a screw top tin lid type setup. Some people may not like the tin, which I understand, because if you're like me, from time to time you drop this stuff and ends up getting a dent. Sometimes they're just little dents, sometimes they're big dents. And I've had an issue in the past with tins, that sometimes for whatever reason these lids kind of sort of get stuck on there. They do not like coming off sometimes. So you'll have to apply something to the threads in order to keep that from happening. But I did think that was kind of odd one time when I got some soap in with the tin lids, that I really struggled just to get the lid off. It was not wanting to come off, which is, could be a little irritating. And we're talking about a tin that was brand new to me. So in other words, it wasn't like one was sitting around for a while in my den waiting to be used. But yeah, I've dropped a tin or two. Dented them up. I say for some people that's a deal breaker, which I understand. Some people like them because, it's kind of a throwback type thing from days gone by. Outside the difficulty getting the lid off from time to time, it doesn't bother me any. But it just has you scratching your head. What's wrong with it? Why is this lid not wanting to come off? Big problems, right? As it goes for scent strength, my nose does pick it up while, I'm shaving off and on. I would not consider it a strong scent strength. So if you're concerned, at least per my nose, if you're concerned about, in other words, if you wanted to mix up your shave, in other words, you want to use this soap, and because it's the only one you have, it's not necessarily, matching up with the aftershave you want to use, I would not see a problem with it. No, for some folks that might be an issue, but with my nose no better than what it is, I do not notice, in other words, it lingering after I rinse it off. At least not per my nose. Your nose could be quite a bit different. But it is present. In other words, while I'm lathering right now, I can smell it, but it's not would not consider it a strong scent by any means. Should mention probably also that this is the second use on this blade, and it is doing quite well. I'll try to remember to take this apart at the end of the shave so you can see what the blade looks like if you're unfamiliar with crystal blades. You might hear a little bit of feedback on the against screen pass. Just a little. This is a nice setup for me, this razor. And the blade's working quite well. I have to say, this handle is just, it's just awesome. It is just beautiful. And to keep it clean, shiny like that, effortless. All I gotta do is wipe it off, and it's good to go. The setup I've had for a few years, and I have to say, the brass handles, I do like using them. It's that look, the feel, the weight of the razor. It feels good in my hands. I have to say, back when I picked this up, is in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the cost of razors and whatnot, it's pretty inexpensive. I'm wanting to say paid $35 for it, maybe. Really inexpensive. Like I said, I've had it for a few years, so cost of everything has went up. Really nice shave. Feels pretty smooth. Don't think the alum block is going to have much to say this morning. A little bit right there. Now I'm only talking about a tiny spot. And that is the only spot that there's any stinging. It's just right there. Probably got a little bit of a blemish of some sort trying to come up. Shaved with this same setup yesterday, so I've had a lot of fun with it. Witch Hazel, Humphreys, huge container. No, I keep on talking about it, but this container is huge. I mean, in the grand scheme of things of all the other containers I have that have witch hazel, this thing is a monster. Now, I keep on mentioning it, but I think, it just depends on where you're at and watching the videos. This is an unscented witch hazel. It does have a scent to it. It's not that there was a scent added to it. It's just naturally occurring. And yeah, I can't even smell it anymore now. But when I first put it on, I can pick it up. Excuse me. My wife does not like it. She does not like the scent. It just, as soon as she smells it, she's done with it. She won't have anything else to do with it. For me, the scent is there, then it goes away pretty quick. For your nose, though, it may be different, just something to be aware of when it comes to different witch hazels, if it has a scent to it, but not that it was added to it. All right, here we go. Stirling's Barbershop. See how this works out this morning. Show you what the restrictor looks like. There we go. Kind of typical of the setup for Stirling. And my nose, sometimes it will pick up stuff that my wife says is non-existent. She doesn't smell it. But to a degree, I think it's a caramel. I'm not sure what my nose is picking up for sure, because part of it kind of reminds me of caramel, but it also reminds me of bourbon. But anyway, it's hump day, right? It's a Wednesday. And this is a pretty nice scent. I like it. It's been a Wednesday. Oh, yes, before I forget, let's take a look. For those that are unfamiliar with crystal blades, when you order a 10-pack like this, that's the packaging it comes in. And even if you order 100 of them, they will come just like this. In other words, not in a box or anything of the sort. And this is what the blade looks like on the inside. Some people really like these. I think they're pretty nice blades. They're made by Persona. This one here, I think days gone by can remember some folks thinking that they shave like Persona Reds. I think that's what some people was thinking about these blades. They work well for me. I like them. They're not too terribly expensive. I think you can get a 100-pack for through Razor Blade Club for about 14 bucks. Yeah, pretty inexpensive, I guess you might say, because depending on how many shaves you get, in other words, how it works out for you, but not real expensive. I had a great shave this morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.